Hello, scattered sheep, and thank you for tuning in. In this video, we're going to continue our study in Matthew chapter 6. This is the Christ, Yeshua, speaking. And we always want to try to be like the Christ in our everyday life, no matter what we do. So, we're going to continue this study. And you can use whatever Bible floats your boat. I'm using a Bible that I understand. You can get one online. You can access it on your phone. Purchase one on eBay or Amazon, whatever. And, you got it. So, thank you for tuning in. And now we're going to talk about Yeshua. And he's told us about the Lord's Prayer. Now, I know a lot of people know this prayer by heart, and that is really awesome. I'm still learning it, actually, and I'm learning it by breaking it down chopping it up into little bitty pieces and trying to figure out what I'm saying, because I always like to know what I'm saying. It's very important that you know what you're saying. Some people like to say this prayer only in public, when they're at the church, or when they're in with a group of people, and they don't say it like that, because they want everybody to know, look, I know the Lord's Prayer, instead of, no, I know the Lord's Prayer. Okay, so there's a difference there. So we're going to get right into what Yeshua said. Now, this is Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. And we're going to continue to read down. You must pray then this way: Our Father in the heavens, let your name be sanctified. Let your kingdom come. Let your will take place as in heaven, also on earth. Now, I want to stop right there. And we got to think about what we just read. Let your kingdom come. Let your will take place as in heaven, also on earth. Now, in heaven, there was never any slavery in heaven. There was never any countries in the heavens that was killing to get to the top. No, there's no war up there or anything like that. When you hear about heaven, you hear about a good place where there's no such thing as any of that stuff. Well, in the Lord's Prayer, it says, let your will take place as in heaven, also on earth. That is describing two places. There's heaven and earth. So when we say the Lord's Prayer, we're asking him, let your will take place. Just like in heaven, may it take place on earth. That's what it says here. Let's read it again. 6:10. Let your kingdom come. Let your will take place as in heaven, also on earth. Okay, we're going to read on. Give us today our bread for this day, and forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. And do not bring us into temptation, but deliver us from the wicked one. Now, we're going to go back to 11. Give us today our bread for this day. Now, y'all know what that is. That's eating, because we need to eat in order to even do his work. You need to be nutrition. So anything within his will, he grants. So, and forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. Okay. So, what does that mean? That means in the Lord's Prayer, you're asking for forgiveness. Is there anybody that you haven't forgiven? Because this is implying that you have forgiven everybody. You forgiven, please forgive our debts as we've forgiven our debtors. That debt is referring to sin. Someone sinned against you. Someone betrayed you or did something upset. Have you really forgiven them? Just like you're asking for forgiveness in the Lord's Prayer? Okay. And 13, and do not bring us into temptation, but deliver us from the wicked one. Now that part right there, what are we asking God to do? We're asking him to not let the Most Low bring us into that temptation so that way we're separated from him. In fact, we want to be delivered from the wicked one. We don't want the wicked one to come into our ways anymore. And we are humbly asking for that to happen. We don't want to fall into temptation. And when you do fall into temptation, are you just going to do what the Most Low wants you to do? Or are you going to be delivered from him? We are the weapon that Father Yah uses to strike him. He wants to dismantle the weapon, which is us. We must fight back, scattered sheep. Just like how we ask in the Lord's Prayer. We're going to go on to 14. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. Whereas if you do not forgive men in their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Okay? So this is Yeshua speaking now. Telling y'all, telling everybody, even me, you can't sit there and say the Lord's Prayer and you ain't forgave somebody for something somebody did 10 years ago. You can't sit there and just not forgive because somebody did something. I know there's people that are out there that are truly wicked and probably, wow, you've been through too much. Trust, I know the level of wickedness out there is extreme. However, do you believe in Father Yah or don't you? Because that's what it boils down to. You cannot be on the fence. You gotta either believe or you don't. That's it. Yeshua didn't say there was an in-between. You either hot or you cold. That's it. There's no purgatory, if you will. I'm just being hypothetical here. There's no in-between. There's either heaven or hell, the lake or the kingdom. There's no in-between there for people that just was on the fence, or people that just didn't want to analyze and hear the truth. So yes, you have to forgive others to the point where you barely it doesn't affect your soul anymore. Well, don't go up there asking for Father Yah's forgiveness. Yeshua said it right here. He said, don't go asking for the Father's forgiveness when you have not forgiven. We're going to go on to 16. When you fast, stop becoming sad-faced like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces so they may appear to men to be fasting. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward in full. But you, when fasting, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that you may not appear to be fasting to men, but only to your Father who is in secret. Then your Father who looks on in secret will repay you. Again, just like in the first video, The pastor will say, oh, we're fasting. Yes, everybody, we're fasting. And then when he goes home in his own, or she goes home in her own personal private time, they're not fasting, they're having a big feast. Meanwhile, they make it appear to y'all that they're fasting. Same thing with some of the people in the congregation. We don't know what they do on a regular basis. We don't know if they're really fasting. The only one that knows is Father Yah. So why be loud about it? What you do for him in secret, he see that. Who cares if your pastor don't see it? Who cares if your pastor is too busy to try to talk to you? Go talk to Father Yah directly. He's never too busy to speak to you. I'm not talking against all pastors. Some people are, God bless them to do what they're doing. But y'all know the hypocrites that Yeshua speaks of. And those are the ones I'm calling out. Thank you for watching, Scattered Sheep, and we will continue our study in the book of Matthew, chapter 6. Thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.